Advanced English, building reading and writing skills for a better life with me, Mr. Munson. All right, hello and welcome to Advanced English. I'm Mr. Munson, and, well, I'll tell you who I am and my qualifications to teach the class in a bit. But first, I wanted to take a moment to discuss what you can expect from this class. This Advanced English class covers the essential skills to get you ready for the College Board exams at the end of your junior year in high school, to prep you for the SAT, and/or to master the skills necessary for success in college, regardless of your current level of expertise. We're not going to focus on the nitty-gritty details in the books that we read. Frankly, I don't care if you remember all of the names and the characters in The Great Gatsby, or the color of the suit worn by the chauffeur who delivers the invitation to Gatsby's party, Robin's Egg Blue, because those kind of details are absolutely worthless. Think about it this way. If you want a job at Pixar, should you sit down and learn how to press the buttons on a specific computer program? No! You need to learn fundamental art skills like drawing, painting, and writing. This class is about practice with the fundamentals, or as I like to call it, mental fun. This is silly wordplay, not chiasmus, more on specific strategies later. Practice that will lead to an improvement in your skill level, perhaps one of the only things in life you have any control over, and more on determinism much later. Reading is one of those fundamental skills. Without critical reading skills, you do not have much chance of success in this world. Sorry, it is as simple as that. I suppose you might win the lottery one day, but it's highly unlikely, and without the skills to know who's taking advantage of you, you'll probably lose your lottery money and end up terribly unhappy anyway, like most lottery winners. If somebody puts a piece of writing in front of you, a contract, an article, even propaganda, before you sign it or adopt the viewpoint or engage in a meaningful discussion, you need the tools to decipher what you are reading. Reading is not just saying the words in your head. Reading is understanding those words and being able to engage with them, to dissect them, and to form your own opinion about them. It's the same thing with writing. No matter your job, you need to be able to communicate effectively. Writing is more than merely translating your thoughts into little abstract symbols. It's a process akin to thinking itself. It's a method for organizing your thoughts and perhaps, most powerfully, for persuading others so that you can get what you want out of life. So as you can see, through language, we are waging a constant battle. In rhetoric, Aristotle himself said, "To a certain extent, all men attempt to discuss statements and to maintain them, to defend themselves, and to attack others. Ordinary people do this either at random or through practice and from acquired habit." Notice that in mentioning Aristotle, a man far wiser than me, I employed an appeal to authority. I also just used me instead of I because it's less formal and will hopefully appeal to my audience more than the stuffy I. Plus, far wiser than I, followed by I employed, sounds really awkward. Anyway, in short, there are people out there who have better reading, writing, and speaking skills than you do. People who are employing every trick that humans have devised throughout recorded history to get you to believe what they are saying, or perhaps worse, to take your money and your freedoms. Critical reading skills are an essential part of your defense. Without them, you are vulnerable. You want to be the person who is able to persuade others and to use your skills for good. Aristotle also said that we must not make people believe what is wrong. To make this world a better place, you don't want to be the chump who is being manipulated by others. This is the real-world value of strong reading and writing skills. It doesn't matter if you want to be a painter, an engineer, a dancer, a waitress. To have any control over your own life, you need to be able to read and write better than all those people who are trying to take advantage of you. So, in this course, I'm going to pull back the curtain on an art form called rhetoric, the art of writing and speaking persuasively, or as Aristotle called it, the power of observing the means of persuasion on almost any subject. All so that you can gain the skills not only to succeed academically, but to stand strong in society and to exert your own influence. In the beginning, I said I would tell you a little bit about myself. I need you to pay close attention here. When I tell you about my background and my experience, I'm doing so not because I like bragging and it makes me feel good, but because I know that one of the most important ways to get an audience to buy into what I have to say is by being trustworthy. We're going to call the first and perhaps most important component of persuasion ethos. More on that in just a minute. I've been teaching English for 17 years now, first at the college level and then at the high school level. Before that, I attended Bucknell University as an English and anthropology major, and then after that, I got my master's degree at the University of Pennsylvania. But I think my most important qualification is that I'm a writer myself. I'm in the trenches every single day, producing new words and putting them out there for the world to read. I make money off my writing, so you know that saying that those who can't do teach? Well, in my case, I also do. Some days producing as much as 35 pages in a single day. And I also love teaching. So I need you to take those tired aphorisms with a heaping handful of salt and go toss them into the wind, because the last thing you need is elevated blood pressure. In general, it's good to avoid cliches. More on that in another episode, but an effective technique is to take a cliche and turn it on its head. Imagine how different it would be if I started this lecture by saying, well, I just graduated high school last year. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's see how it goes. Immediately, you'd put up your defenses. You'd shut down, and you'd close yourself off to persuasion. You wouldn't listen. You'd deem me as untrustworthy. Thus, we can see that ethos, or as Aristotle called it, the personal character of the speaker, is the first kind of persuasion. Why bother listening to someone who is a known liar, a fraud, a con man? They are not trustworthy, and as soon as they expose themselves, they have trouble persuading and must always find new chumps to con. We see ethos employed all the time, not just in politics but in everyday life, especially advertisements. Ethos is why, when celebrities have a fall from grace, they often lose their endorsements. Remember Tiger Woods, once considered the world's most marketable athlete? He lost a bunch of sponsors after a 2009 scandal. It's because in order to sell a product to persuade, one must be seen as trustworthy. If you've watched the documentary The Last Dance about Michael Jordan's last season with the Chicago Bulls, you'll see how dedicated Jordan was to maintaining his public image. This is because in order to be the greatest athlete/advertiser in the world, he had to stay trustworthy. It's the same reason why we hear things like 9 out of 10 dentists recommend a certain toothpaste. Why? Because dentists are experts in their field. Or why influencers on YouTube make so much money for simply wearing a certain pair of sunglasses or mentioning a product. Their loyal audiences trust them. Now, according to Aristotle, we believe good men more fully and more readily than others. This is true generally, whatever the question is, and absolutely true where exact certainty is impossible and opinions are divided. His character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion he possesses. All right, as a final note, be careful not to merely substitute ethos with ethics. While a trustworthy speaker is most likely an ethical one, it is not a one-to-one relationship, as people who lack the necessary defenses against rhetoric can, sadly, be made to believe things that simply aren't true. With that, I will bid you adieu. Next time, we'll discuss ethics and my expectations for the class, as well as effective steps for success, the value of setting goals, skills versus grades, and more. As always, never trust another man's annotations. Here I use man to refer to all human beings. I tried replacing man with woman, person, individual, and even soul, but none have the same ring, nor the lighthearted arrogance, so please forgive my use of the masculine pronoun. Okay, until next time.